This isn't supposed to be a pure informative video like the last one. I just kind of want to yap about Charger's patch 5 changes. If you're looking for information about the Charger class, you probably will find some kind of substance here though. All around, Charger got some absolutely exquisite buffs. If you're a Charger player, chances are you've already had the time to be doing giggly snow angels in this sea of quality of life that we got, since patch 5's been out for like a month maybe now. There's some specific things I want to talk about, but I'm just going to start by just like reading through the change logs, and we'll get there when we get there. The charge in general just feels nicer because they tweaked the acceleration and deceleration a little bit. But the really big thing is that speed upgrades give you better turning speed now. Back in patch 4, the way it would sort of go would be that you would just have the normal god-awful turning speed, and then you'd buy Matrix somewhere down the line and just suddenly have immaculate turning speed. But now there's a bit of progression to it, because you sort of, you get your 3 swiftness rings, and then the turning is already like good enough to go around some like wide turns in the generation. And then you get shoes, and it's already like really good actually. You can kind of start using it as your main form of mobility. And then of course you get back up to Matrix, and you're back to charging can just be your main method of movement. Patch notes also say increased gift collection range while charging, which I'm pretty sure already existed in patch 4, but maybe they buffed it. And then next is probably the single biggest and most important change for Charger as a whole, and that's you can quick drop even when your ability isn't charged. This is of course just like really good for general movement, because you can now just use it whenever. It's amazing. Also, if you accidentally start a charge by just quick falling, you're out of commission. Something I find myself doing in early game a lot is I'll like air platform charge over a gap, and then I want to get down quicker and I'll just quick drop. It's great. Also, after you charge into a mine and get sent into the air, you don't have to wait to fall down. You can just quick drop back to the floor. But the really big thing here is how it synergizes with charge chaining. If you don't know what charge chaining is, it did exist in patch 4, and when you have Ninja Belt, it basically means that even if your ability is on cooldown, you can still start a charge by starting it like a split second after you touch down on the ground. So you'd be airborne, land, and then charge immediately. So in patch 4, this would basically mean that you would just jump and then start a charge when you land. But now that you can fast fall even when your ability is not on charge, you can incredibly quickly just jump, fast fall, and then immediately charge chain. It's to the level where I kind of roll my fingers across like jump into secondary ability and then start my primary ability. And just the pure speed at which you can do these like direction changes by doing it is just absolutely incredible. Another little thing is that since you can quick drop even when your ability is off of charge, you can do Kelowna. Whereas in patch 4, if your ability was out, you just kind of die to what was previously Cuckoo. There's some changes to quick dropping onto a bell. It kind of boosts you higher. Kind of like you can use it as like a bounce pad basically. Related to that reminds me that if you charge into a bell now, you go incredibly high. It's hilarious. You can no longer start a charge chain if you hit a trip mine. If you charge into a trip mine, your recharge meter turns pink as it's recharging, which is kind of like an indicator that you're on like a trip mine recharge. It's a bit of balance, I feel like, for the buffs to the charge chaining that I talked about earlier. It sort of creates this game where you're rewarded for dodging the trip mines, and then if you run into one, then you just kind of go on like timeout for a little bit. Another nice quality of life change is that hitting a trip mine while sliding doesn't kill you. This is referring to the state where you let go of the charge button, but your character is still stumbling forward for a little bit. In patch 4, if you hit a trip mine during that, you would die, even though you didn't really have much control. But now in patch 5, you still have your immunity, so that's really nice. Here's one that's just like a nice accessibility thing. You can now jump out of your charge, including being on your platform. And what that basically means is you no longer have to do a timing to do a jump charge, where you charge and then do your platform and then jump off of the platform. But of course, before you couldn't do it during the charge, so you'd have to like stop your charge and then really quickly get the jump out. Now if you jump, it just cancels the charge, so you can really easily do a jump charge. Speaking of the platform, I love the new design of it. It looks so nice. And that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about in the patch notes for Charger specifically. I do want to talk about Sharktail though. For most classes, Sharktail is just a boost to vertical movement. Like with Diver, you can kind of just use it as an extra jump. Charger, you can kind of do the same thing, but you gotta like wait until you accelerate, and you of course need something to start your charge off of. I feel like Charger still might be the most lacking in vertical movement between all the classes, even with Sharktail, but that doesn't mean that Sharktail is not kind of a game changer for the class. Having that option for vertical movement is really, really important. I've especially noticed this when I'm trying to climb high-rise towers. Having Sharktail is an absolute godsend. There is one minor inconvenience though, and that's when you're trying to do the like charge chaining fast fall stuff I was talking about earlier. When you go to jump and then press fast fall, you don't fast fall, you Sharktail. So that kind of changes up the inputs a little bit. Instead of, ending your charge, jump, fast fall ability, you have to press ability 3 times, because the first one, Sharktails, the second one, fast falls, and the third one is the charge. And it is a little bit less convenient than doing it with just Ninja Belt, but it's manageable. I have seen people talking about this in the suggestions tab in the Discord, and I saw Mart saying that a separate bind for Sharktail might be something to add in the future, which is great. A separate bind would be awesome. Another way that this would be fixed would just be if pressing maybe primary ability did Sharktail, but secondary ability did fast fall, like only one of them actually worked for Sharktail. Again, it's really not a huge deal. I mean, gaining height at the end of a charge is never really a bad thing. Usually it's helpful to gain height. It doesn't really ever lead you. I mean, of course, there is going to be scenarios where you don't want to go up. I've just been kind of pressing secondary and primary ability at the same time when I want to not Sharktail, but I do want to fast fall. And it doesn't function exactly the same as a quick drop, but it gets the job done. Like the momentum's a tiny bit different, but it still works to just Sharktail and then immediately fast fall by pressing both of them at the same time. I think the last thing I want to talk about is just go over like bugs, because there are some bugs that have been in the game since patch 4 and still aren't patched. There is one new thing that I noticed when I started playing Charger after patch 5 released, which was kind of weird behavior when you start charging out of a slip. In patch 4, you could be in a slip and then just kind of charge out of it in any direction that you wanted. But now there's this weird kind of influence that the slip has over what direction you charge in. I think I have a clip of it that I'll probably find somewhere, where you kind of go off in this direction that really isn't related to any direction key you were holding. But I've sort of already gotten used to it. I just haven't really been charging out of slips anymore. And I kind of forgot about it entirely at this point, honestly. One that's been in the game since patch 4 is where you do this like frame perfect charge chain. If you do it like as early as possible, you do this weird thing where you are charging, but you have no animations, and like even if you let go of the button, it keeps you charging, and you need to press it to stop it. I also learned the hard way that if you are in this odd state, you don't have trip mine immunity. You can charge into a trip mine and just explode and die. It's great. I hadn't charged into a trip mine like this during patch 4, so I'm not sure if that part is new or not. This next one, they do say in the patch notes that they plan on fixing in the future, and it's the bug that if you start a charge off of a bounce pad or a grapple point with your primary ability, and then you go on your merry way with the charge, start holding your ult ability to get your platform out, and then you let go of the ult ability, instead of continuing to charge without the platform like you would if you had started it from solid ground, it just ends your charge. And I've already kind of learned to work around that over time by just like not starting longer charges off of pads, but I definitely am sort of waiting for them to fix this one. Usually during like collapse when there's only bounce pads, I just start a charge off of a C mine. When you have all the speed upgrades, it goes perfectly fine. Something straight from the list of bug fixes, you can't quick drop through a bounce pad anymore, which is something that I forgot you could even do. But that's great, because I know that I've avoided to this. It's where you would, press hit the bounce pad and then immediately start your quick drop. Like maybe you're going over to it and you're like, just out of habit, you're going to quick drop onto it, but you do it a little bit late. So then instead of quick dropping onto the bounce pad, you go through it into the void. They also said they fixed the bugged state when you would do like a big jump off of a bounce pad with your ability, where it would still think you're in your ability, and so you would die to, well, Cuckoo and Dozer, which is now Kelowna and Operator. And then they end the bug fixes section of Charger with, there are probably still like 10 bugs with this class that were either created or fixed. I can't take it anymore with this class. So I guess Charger is just kind of a spaghetti mess for the dev team. Overall, I'm overjoyed with their work, honestly, and I guess I wish them luck dealing with the class. And that's pretty much all I was able to spew out. I'm loving patch 5, and I'm loving watching this game's community grow. I remember in patch 4, I would see like the same people across multiple lobbies, which was really cool, by the way, and it made it feel super tight-knit. But with the release of patch 5, I've stopped seeing that, and that's a good thing, because that means the player base has skyrocketed since the update. But yeah, that's all. Happy nullscaping.